items we see on store shelves don't show up there by chance. Retailers decide what will occupy that precious space. Now a growing movement is trying to ensure that Black-owned businesses have an opportunity to sell their goods in proportion with the Black population. It's called the 15% Pledge. And I spoke with founder Aurora James about why she believes disrupting business as usual was the only option.
I was so fed up as, a woman and a woman of color of being disappointed by the choices that people or companies were making. But I also realized that I had failed in a lot of ways to really ask for what I needed.
It was out of frustration that fashion designer Aurora James decided she needed to be a part of the solution.
Say his name!
In the aftermath of the killing of George Floyd, she took to Instagram, demanding major retailers commit 15% of their shelf space to Black-owned brands.
I was having conversations with my friends about all of these corporations and, the donations that they were making. And I was really like, no, guys, we need real change. Black businesses are dying out.
According to a report conducted last June, the National Bureau of Economic Research found that 41% of Black-owned businesses have closed due to the pandemic. Compare that to less than 17% of white-owned businesses. James founded her own luxury accessory brand, Brother Velas, in 2013 and knows firsthand the barriers Black entrepreneurs face.
I really did that without ever having even a loan from my bank or a company credit card. It was always one of those things where I was like, oh, it's weird. Even first round of PPP, didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
No.
The bank said no to you?
I was able to, get loans from various people. But to be honest, they weren't healthy loans that were helpful for my businesses. They weren't loans that, any of my white male colleagues in the industry would have ever had to get.
Along with committing shelf space, companies are asked to conduct an internal audit of their current spending power and contracts allocated to Black businesses. I'm curious what you tell companies are going to get out of it on the back end.
When we look at consumer trends right now, we're also seeing that people want to shop places that they believe in. And they're not willing to just spend money anywhere anymore because we have fought hard for every single dollar that we make right now as Americans.
I'm wearing makeup and I'm totally comfortable.
Sephora was the very first company to commit.
We were very excited. I'll tell you, within minutes of seeing the pledge.
Artemis Patrick is Executive Vice President and Global Chief Merchandising Officer for Sephora.
Within minutes of talking to Aurora, it became very clear that we were aligned, that this is really about a long-term plan that builds a platform for Black-owned and Black-founded beauty prestige brands to grow and succeed.
How specifically are you and Aurora working together to tackle this big overhaul?
It absolutely should be that the people who are creating the brands should also be a representation of the people who are buying the brands.
Sephora evolved an already existing program dedicated to women founders and created a new initiative that focuses solely on building Black, Indigenous, and people of color founded beauty brands.
It was very emotional.
Marie Quadio Amuza and Alice Lynn Glover created skincare line Edom and are among the first group of women selected. So Alice, walk me through it. What is the process like?
It was like winning the lottery for me. We then interviewed with the Sephora team, and I really have to give them credit because I think when we're explaining our product, a lot of people struggle to understand exactly what we're talking about, but they themselves had a diverse panel of interviewers, and so they really seemed to understand what we were building and why it was important.
They met at Google, bonding over their shared immigrant background and being one of the few women in the tech company. The two always discuss beauty, but the idea to start a brand came years before.
It was back in 2014, and this very famous Black Hollywood actress was the face of a well-known brand, and they had just launched a foundation product. And I was like, oh my God, someone that looks like me, I need to buy this product. And I get to the counter and I ask for my shade, and I'm like, I want whatever she has. And the salesperson looks at me and he says, oh, we don't have your shade here.
So the shade's available. They make the shade.
Yes.
They just didn't bother to put your color in the store.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And I was like, okay, I really need to do something in this industry, because if that's what I'm seeing, I'm sure there are other pockets out there where we can bring change and more diversity.
For James, it's about the pledge making a difference. When we are on the other side, what will society look like when you've met these goals?
When we talk about supporting small businesses and we talk about supporting small Black-owned businesses in this country, what that really means is supporting underprivileged communities that need it the most. And it's important for everyone to understand that the 15% pledge isn't just about positively impacting Black people, it's about positively impacting the country at whole.
And that's really the bottom line. A rising tide lifts all boats. Inc. magazine says that minority women now control nearly half of all women-run businesses. Women are the backbone entrepreneurs of this country. So you got to make sure that, they get a fighting chance and even the playing field.